Now, everyone has their own unique set of experiences, life lessons that they've learned that will help others in their own journey. In saying that, I'm going to talk about the 5 life lessons that I've learned in my 5 years as a computer engineer. So with that, let's get into it. My name is Sarah, and I've been an undergraduate student in computer engineering since 2015. I started my first official internship in 2017 and have since been working as a full-time engineer within the same company starting 2020. In total, including my internship, I have been working there for 6 years now, and I'd like to share the top 5 lessons that I've learned. And the very first thing that I've learned is to ask questions. When I was an undergraduate student and an intern, there were a lot of times where I had no idea what the professor was saying or what I was doing. So what I would do instead is to just Google it or look online. I never once asked the professor what he was talking about in fear of looking dumb or looking inexperienced in front of my classmates or in front of other engineers. It really ended up hurting me in the long run because I ended up having to put in twice as much work in order to produce the same result or to understand one thing that wasn't really even a part of the work. It was just having that prerequisite understanding about the work. I was just so inexperienced and I was afraid to ask what to do or how to go about getting this done. And so that's where I learned, okay, I need to ask questions. I need to, if something doesn't make sense to me, just ask the question. It won't be that hard. And if they don't know the answer, well, that's okay. I could, work on it myself. If you are unfamiliar about a particular subject or a particular process, then to just ask the professor or ask your coworker, or ask the other engineer who you think might be more knowledgeable in that area, and they'll more likely than not be able to answer that question for you, and it'll save you a lot of time and stress, and it might save them some time and stress as well. Number 2 is to document. As I started working as a full-time computer engineer in 2020, I realized that, okay, I need to, record everything I do, even if there's small little tasks that aren't usually part of the project. I would still document it because I knew that I would be using it later on. After a year or so, I realized that, oh, I need to do this exact same thing again. I probably should have documented it. So now I'm documenting everything that I do, from the little tasks to the big projects. Not only would this help with future work, but it'll also help with coworkers. If someone needs help in some area that I had previously worked on, I can refer to those notes and help them out or give them those notes. And so when you start your job or you start your career, make sure you document everything you do. That's probably the most important time to document everything, because that's where you're going to learn all of the basic steps and how to, get ramped up in that company. So having that documentation there is perfect. Not only perfect for you later on in your first couple of years, but it'll also be helpful for new hires and give them the ability to catch up to the rest of the group quicker and easier. Other reasons why documentation is important, especially as an engineer, is because if someone needs to know information about a project that you're working on or a software program that you're working on, then they need to know how it works. What are the different commands that they could use to get it to run? What is the current status of this software? You need to be able to explain what it does, how to operate it, how to install it, and how to configure it. All of those things are part of that documentation process, and not having that documentation would be literal hell for not only you, but also the user or the other person who is developing the program. So just making sure that you document any sort of changes to the code, any sort of updates, add-ons, removals, all of that is very important for later on in the future. And so the next life lesson is to keep going. Now, I had majored in one of the hardest fields to major in college, and it didn't get any easier when I became a computer engineer. There were many times where I just wanted to quit and I didn't want to continue. However, I still had the mindset that, okay, don't give up, just keep going. Eventually you'll get there, and if you fail this test or if you fail this class, that's okay, you can retake it. You can't stop because you're already so far in. Why would you stop now? And I also used this mindset when I got my internship as well as when I got my job. So I just kept saying to myself that I just have to keep going. I'll keep interviewing however many times I need to interview in order to get that position. Just having the mindset of don't give up and to keep going is a huge life lesson that I think everyone should adopt, and that it's a good thing in terms of helping you achieve your goals. No matter what you're majoring in, just keep in mind that you're going to keep going, not giving up, and you'll eventually get there, and that consistency overcomes resistance. The next life lesson that I learned is that people care more about how you interact with them than your actual work. And what I mean by that is, yes, of course, your manager and your coworkers want you to do your work and want to see progress. However, if you're someone who is very quiet and reserved and you really just like to go into the office or or go to your laptop and just work and not really interact with your coworkers or talk to them very much, and then leave and go home. Even though you may be getting your work done, it's really hard for maybe the manager or the other coworkers to see the progress you've done, because it just seems like for some reason, if you're not actively engaging with your coworkers or you're not giving out, that positive energy that people tend to look for, then they don't see you as a very good team player, for example, or that they don't realize the amount of work you've done. It makes it difficult for people to really see how much work you're putting into it because they don't really have any interaction with you. And this is something that I have experienced firsthand and just recently, because I am, remote worker and I hardly ever see my teammates. However, there are times where I go see them, and even then I don't really talk very much. I do realize that if I just talk more, or if I'm more interactive and expressive, then they will more likely be able to see me as a good coworker, probably give me positive feedback to the manager, and then the manager will most likely realize that I've actually been doing more, so they'll give me a higher raise. And so that is something that I think is a huge life lesson, is that even though you shouldn't care about what your coworkers think about you, you should still interact with them and make sure that they see you as an asset to the team or to the company. And so the last life lesson I learned is that people really don't know what they're doing. No matter how experienced someone is or how proficient someone is in a certain area, there's still going to be something that they're going to run into that they don't know how to fix, or it's something that they've never seen before that they just don't know how to go about solving the problem. And this is probably more attributed to engineers than anything else, because engineers are problem solvers. That's the whole point of an engineer, is to solve problems that arise or that are created. Having that ability to problem solve is a key thing of being an engineer, and that's why I think it's more prominent in that area more so than any other field. However, there are many times in which there's a problem that no one knows how to fix in all other areas of life. So whether you're in medicine or you're in law school or you're in business, there's always going to be something new that pops up that you've never been able to figure out how to solve before. Realizing that no one really knows what they're doing, and that we're all just kind of wafting through life, learning and growing and just trying to gain more experience and gain more wisdom, trying to just do the best we can, make the best decisions we can based on what we know and what we've been through at that time. That really is a huge life lesson, because the sooner you realize that, the easier it is to actually do what you think is right instead of relying on someone else, because they might be able to help you in the beginning if you're just starting out, but as you get more experience in a certain area, you have your own experiences, you have your own problems or issues that you're trying to work through. Whether it's work or personal related, it doesn't matter. Being able to not have to rely on others allows you the ability to grow in your own way and become your own independent person. Those are all the life lessons that I've learned as a computer engineer. And if you guys found this video helpful or useful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see similar videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any other video suggestions, please let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, thank you for watching.